Welcome back to another episode of the Wrinkly Brain podcast. This is a Smooth Brain EDH affiliated podcast where we like to goof, gaff, and talk about the Commander format. I'm your host, Jason, joined today by my co-hosts, Ethan.
Hello.
And Cameron.
Howdy, howdy.
All right, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. This title is too long for a set. This nonsense of power over here has hit the shelves, and it's time for a set review. Since this set has so many cards in it, we're just going to talk about our top 3 commanders, and then give some other cards that we want to talk about, plus some things like cool design choices and how we feel about the set overall.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into this set. I'm a casual Lord of the Rings fan, so high fantasy in general, D&D player, yada yada yada. Always fun to get into this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like a really fun set overall. I'll give more first impressions in a moment. But Ethan, you got anything?
This set's kind of cool, but like
the commander decks are goated.
They are.
I honestly, because I'm not buying the precons right now due to financial constrictions, I didn't even really look at them. I just saw Simic Scry, and I was like, I want that one, but definitely can't buy it right now.
Reprints.
After this, we're actually just gonna have to go and look through all of those precons with you
Toxic
because they're really
reprint.
cool.
I heard about there's a Deluge reprint, which is dope. There was a Simic Gandalf that I did see. That literally could have been called Gandalf Simic Bullshitter, and it would have been exactly accurate because it's dumb. I mean, it's like it's Emoti Part 2, but like
this one
maybe better.
I pulled it. That one?
Oh, I want that one. Hey, can I have that? Hey, Cameron, can I have that one?
Westward Voyagers, maybe.
Sure. Hey, Cameron, please.
All right. So
I will do favors for that one if you know what I mean.
All right. So we're going to get into it now, and just so everyone's aware, yes, we are going to dedicate a fair bit of conversation just to Orcish Bowmasters. That's going to have its own section here, so if you want to hear that discourse, go to the time on the screen. I'm not a wizard, so I don't know it right off the top of my head. Anyway, so the first most important question of all of this here. Gentlemen, how much Lord of the Rings have you seen or read?
I have watched the extended versions of the movies, and I watched all the Hobbit movies, but that's the extent of it. It's been also 5 or 6 years. I was in college, and I'm no longer in college. So it's been a while, for sure.
Last time I watched Lord of the Rings was college. I read The Hobbit. I love the Hobbit book. It's so much fun to read. It's such an easy read, too. I've read the first... Fuck you, what's up?
No, you say that because I'm laughing. I was supposed to read that in 10th grade, and I actively just I did it.
The Hobbit is such a good book.
I know it's a good book. I also just didn't read a single required reading book that entire year. I made an A in the class, so I'm not upset, but I didn't read that or Frankenstein or anything. Thank you. Smart Notes saved my ass.
Yep.
Anyway, I've read The Hobbit several times. Fuck you. Because when I was in study hall in when I was in study hall in high school, we couldn't do anything other than read or do homework. So I would reread The Hobbit. And I started to get into the first 2 books. This has been 7-8 years since I tried to read Lord of the Rings. I got through the 2 Towers and it was boring as fuck, so I stopped reading it. And then I've watched the movies, but I'm more of a Hobbit fan. But Lord of the Rings is cool.
Yeah, I've watched the movies. I don't think I've actually completed the 3rd movie. Weirdly enough, anytime I sit down to start it, something happens and we can't finish it, and so it's I'm 3 attempts in, and I've gotten through the first hour, and it's just nope, it's and nothing more from here.
Not meant to be.
Can we do Discord movie night then with the Smooth Brain guys? Just so we can
I'd be done.
Because you need to watch it, and also I want to watch the extended versions. So I need 4 hours.
I've
watched about the first movie I can't mention on podcast because it's a little more PG-13, but
I have watched all of, including the extended versions of the first 2 movies multiple times.
Just not the 3rd one?
Not the 3rd one, though. Somehow that just never works out.
One of our friends was an RA, and he would rent out the in college. He would rent out the little theater in the like student center, and we watched did we watch all the extended cuts down there?
So I watched one of them in our living room with him. Without you there, and next we watched the other ones with you down in the theater because I watched a lot of stuff down there with him, including Lord of the Rings. He also showed me Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. So like, he kind of ruined me.
I mean,
Salad Fingers too.
That's deep cut old internet.
Oh yeah, back on Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Jason, we're going to show you that movie here soon.
Excellent.
But to get to the point, Jason, that he's trying to make, we don't really know. Like we know it, but like I didn't know who the hell Tom Bombadil was. I'll tell you that.
I did know Tom Bombadil. I did know him. He's a guy. He just sings. He just is.
I've forgotten most of the characters by the time I'd gotten back to it. So
Tom's not in the movie. I don't know if you've read.
No, I'm aware of that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there's a few of them. Like, I mean, Tom's one of the ones that gets cut from the books. I know that. And then there's like, I think it's Lobelia. She gets cut as well.
I think she gets mentioned.
She's not
Hobbit,
actually
or the Sackville Bagginses in general, because they're the ones trying to take Bilbo's fortune or something. It's been years since I've read these books.
Okay.
Nerd.
Yes, we're talking about Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering sets. Jesus Christ.
You can't really get much more fantasy nerd than this.
Nope, and I love it.
But anyway, so first impressions of the set, right? The actual magic side of this. So I think the set's pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the mechanics, actually, because like tempting the ring doesn't really interest me that much, weirdly enough. Normally these types of mechanics are very strong, but this one, I don't know. And just because like I'm a casual enjoyer, because I've forgotten so many of the characters, it doesn't really mean much to me that a lot of these characters have legendary cards.
What was the number? There's like 120 legendary
121!
Yeah, 121 legendary creatures within the set.
Between
more commanders! Yeah! Gollum!
I hate how many legendaries there are in this set. That's mainly just for Xur scale reasons. But
you got screwed on this one.
Oh god, I'm just shot in the foot completely. But at least like it does feel like a real Legendaries Matters set. Like by comparison, Dominaria United has its Legendaries Matter theme to it, and the Legendary Matter theme was so light that it didn't matter at all. Like even in draft, it didn't really matter. So.
Hey, an idea for the Xur scale. Everything's a 7, right? Just name them all 7s.
Obviously, everything in the set is a 7. Nothing is great, nothing is terrible.
Exactly.
And Ethan, you previously mentioned, like, you enjoy the movies, and you had, like, you said, like, set's alright.
Yeah.
Got any more info than that?
Everything I saw of it was like, oh, that's cool. But nothing said, oh, I have your attention, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, a lot of cool stuff. The ring mechanic, we tried playing with it for the set release videos, and like it just seemed overly complicated personally. Maybe I'm just smooth enough brained that
we all
like,
are.
It just didn't grasp me. But like it felt really complicated. It reminded me of the day and night cycle stuff from the latest set of Innistrad, and that really lost my interest. And so this one's a little bit similar.
I don't think it's on that level. At least
Fair.
with ring tempting, if you fuck up, it's only you that's getting fucked up. With day night, it's like, oh shit, my opponent's werewolf's deck's supposed to cared about a card being night, and it's like, well, it was day because someone forgot that they cast 2 spells or didn't cast a spell. Ring is kind of monarchy adjacent, I want to say. Like you're keeping track of it.
Yeah. It's more initiative adjacent.
That's fair. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I like that comparison much more.
Progressing through the stages like that, yeah.
Having played set release, and my deck, we'll get to later, one of the Smeagols, the green-black one, that one cares exclusively about tempting. That's its main thing. So once I played with it, it's not too bad. Getting the grasp initially, yes. But I kind of like, as Jason said, it's kind of lukewarm, the effects you get from it. Like the best one probably is the loot. And that's the second one, so it's not bad. I'm glad they did not bust it like they did Initiative for the sake of other formats.
Yeah, I will say that how lukewarm I am on this set is that me as the judge still cannot tell you exactly what tempting the ring tempts you does. I don't remember all of the steps, and I don't think I'm going to bother learning all of them.
I think it's a flow chart.
When the ring tempts
it has a chart on the back.
You can choose a new ring bearer if you even if you have one already bearing, you can choose a new one. And then
yes, you can.
And then also, even if you don't have a creature and the ring tempts you, you move up to the next phase, the next step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 4 steps, and you can still tempt you, but you don't go through the cycles again. You just stay at the 4th step.
You just stay at 4 forever. Like, Chandler did a good job editing the last video, I really thought, with the ring tempt. Like, I was like, oh, that's really smart. The whole, ring tempt, whatchamacallit.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice. The little cutouts, too. That was very good. Nice little touch. Mm-hmm. I will say, one big criticism I have of this set, which is, in a set with 121 legendary creatures, why are there so many cards for singular characters?
I mean, I know the reason why, but it's because they're different stages in the adventure at the times that the card are depicting them. It's so fucky wucky. Like Gandalf having 4 cards that are all 5 colors, but he doesn't have a black pip in any of his cards. But
also, one of the other things that kind of gets me... So, one of the reasons definitely has to be for the draft. They wanted to make sure there was uncommon versions of every single one of the cards you care about, because, hell yeah, I want to draft Gandalf. Is it a good Gandalf? I don't know. I just want to play Gandalf. I get that. But did we need, how many Gandalfs is it? 5 Gandalfs?
4 Gollum Smeagols. 2 Gollums, 2 Smeagols.
Something like that.
Are we counting?
I think it's 3 Gollums, with 1 Smeagol.
Yeah, we're
counting
Commander
in with
set.
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and there's also 4 Frodos.
4 Frodos.
There's a handy thing that we can use to find this out. Not sponsored. Scryfall. You can go to the set and then sort it by name, which is what I'm doing right now.
The flavor argument against the criticism of this is that, Frodo at the beginning of his journey leaving the Shire is not the same Frodo that is, throwing the ring into Mount Doom. They are not the same.
That's completely understandable.
So, while, I think flavor-wise, another flavor win is that all of the flavor text, I believe, is just straight from the books. And...
I didn't notice that.
I think it is. And so, I just think that reminds me of Magic of old, back in...
That's true.
The first couple
when
sets
where it was Shakespeare and Genesis
Shakespeare
and stuff.
Quote or a love what's it, love whatever not Lovecraft. I don't think they did Lovecraft. Maybe they did. Anyway,
no,
I hope not. But old literature like Wordsworth and all that stuff, and that was cool. I understand why it got phased out because they started making their own story. But I think with Lord of the Rings they handled it well with the whole keeping it off the books.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
The number 4 Gandalfs in the main set plus the 5th Simic one. 2 different mono-white Gandalfs is actually kind of bothers me a little bit. And also the fact that Gandalf the Grey is Simic. Just the word gray makes you think white-black, not is it. I mean... it's throwing me off. But I get he's a wizard.
Isn't Saruman the White a blue card?
Yes, I want to say you're correct. Let me keep scrolling. I'm scrolling now because they have every single version of every single card, including the 12 Nazguls, different arts of that.
That's cool.
The Nazgul stuff was really cool. I will give them
9 ring rates. Cool. I'm cool with that. That's cool with me.
How many Sarumans? So Saruman the White is a mono blue.
Yeah.
Also, they had 3 different Saurons.
Mm-hmm.
Sauron.
There's 4 Saurons overall, but.
Oh, yeah, there's the one in the commander deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can get very confusing if you're we were talking earlier. I was I want to talk about Smeagol later, and Jason's well, which fucking one?
Yeah. So to bridge into this, we're going to talk about our top 3 commanders here for each of these, and at the very minimum, I'm going to give a description of what each of them are, if not their full name, just for clarification. So this won't get confusing at all, I swear.
Nah, we'll be fine.
All right, who wants to start it off? Ethan, you start it off.
Oh, let me go back to the script. I'm scrolling through cards to try and find the best card in the set. You know what I'm talking about. So top commanders. So the one that I built for set release, which if you go back and see our set release video, was Aragorn the Uniter. 4 colors. Let me go ahead and scroll back up to the A so I can read this one out. It is a 4-drop 5/5 legendary creature to be noble for a red, a green, a white, and a blue. The fact that it's not in order bothers me. That it starts with red and it's like I don't know how to determine the order of the color pips. Just make it consistent, please. Please. That's all I'm asking. Anyway, whenever you cast a white spell, you make a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, you scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, it deals 3 damage to each opponent, to target opponent, not each, target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So, if you cast a blue-white spell, you get the 1/1 and scry 2. If you cast a 4-color spell, you get all 4. So, it becomes a value engine. I did not build it the best for that video. I kind of powered it down a little bit. If I want to power it up, I would probably do more red spells with curiosity effects so I could ping things. But just doing multicolor madness, doing lucky charms. So like a lot of people do like Ramos Dragon Engine, playing like all the different charms. And I wanted something pretty similar to that. It was fun. I got to do some cool stuff. The video had an absolute blowout though, which made me very sad. Please go watch me almost want to cry on camera. It's a good time. At least I didn't die first. Cameron.
Hey, spoilers. I for anyone listening to this, we recorded 3 games. I died first every game. It'd be like that.
You did die first every game.
I did. I really did.
So it's a cool card. I'm glad that they're doing more 4-color commanders. I feel like they have a little bit more identity than 5-color. It's not much of one. There is some deck building restriction there, and they're not just have, hey, you can play extra lands, or hey, this is Lands Matters with the other 2 4-color actual options. This is a nice, refreshing kind of thing there. I like it. And the other art for it is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great overall. I'll go into mine here. This is my meme option, but I love Shadowfax, Lord of Horses.
Yeah!
Shadowfax is great!
Alright, so we're 5 mana in Boros for a 4/4 legendary creature, Horse. Excellent start. Horses you control have haste, and the reminder text has, they can attack and tap as soon as they come under your control. That is literally Shadowfax telling you the meaning of haste. So
Shadowfax, the meaning of haste.
Which is fantastic reference right there.
But also like a day to realize that one, right? Like, no one caught it for a while, and I felt so dumb.
It's a quote from the book. Good. It's Gandalf talking about Shadowfax, and Shadowfax is the meaning of haste.
And the other thing that was the actual main ability you're building around is actually very good still. And for an uncommon commander, it is particularly good. So whenever Shadowfax Lord of Horses attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Hi, Winota Light. I'm cool with this.
Oh yeah.
You have to have the card in hand, but it's just play small creature aggro and top it off with Shadowfax snowballing your advantage and get some card draw in there. Great.
Use one of the new enchantment. Use an Anthem, buff Shadowfax by 1, and then put in Elishnorn.
Cameron?
Yeah. I think Jason's on board.
I'm calling the police.
I've been your friend for a while now, Cameron, but I think we need to reassess things.
Would you rather me put in a fucking Mog Fanatic or something?
Yes, actually.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you.
Ping down my X1 commander.
You could actually put in Siege Gate Commander and that'd be funny, but
Beetleback Chief and just
go wide.
Whee!
Boros
Shadowfax Goblins.
Yeah, this would be
that actually would
funny
work.
Goblins deck.
That would actually work as a Boros Goblins commander. That's kind of sick.
Shadowfax playing for the wrong team over here. What's going on?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it almost not feeding her now.
Yeah, that's just fun. This is a meme one, but it's also just I love this stupid card.
It's also an uncommon I just saw, which is that's a really good uncommon.
You want to play Pauper Commander with this thing?
Holy shit!
Ooh, Jason. Yeah. Ooh. This is so cool. Anyway, Shadowfax is awesome. Let's go on. Cameron?
Hey, I have a commander I want to talk about. I would like to talk about Smeagol, Helpful Guide. This Smeagol is the green-black one. It's 1 green-black. It has Morbid, so if a creature died this turn, then at your end step, the ring tempts you. And whenever the ring tempts you, just in general, whenever it tempts you, target opponent reveals the top card of their library until they reveal land. Put that card on the battlefield tapped under your control, and the rest of their cards in the graveyard. Not bottom library, in the graveyard. So, I really liked it. I wanted to goof around with the new mechanic, and this was kind of the best commander I saw to do that with. I got to play 9 Nazgul in my deck. I did. It was good. It was really good. I think the flavor is really cool of like Smeagol leading you deeper into enemy territory, and it is. But I don't know. I like. I was hated out 2 games with this card because
you mill people.
Well, not that. People don't like it when you take their things in general, like in Magic, and I don't know. It's just a landfall. Like I play Kozilek's in a landfall big mana deck. I just like the way that there's not many decks that take opponents' lands specifically. I don't think any.
No, there's not too many overall.
So interesting niche the card fills. Makes good use of the ring tempting mechanic.
Yeah, there's probably a few that do that, but honestly, yeah, Smeagol's
specifically about land. If you want to play landfall with your opponent's lands, this is the commander for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool one, and I think it's really good overall. Screw it, Cameron, talk about another one.
Hey, yo, we're
gonna be chaotic today.
Wow. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna not talk about it in order that's listed on our doc.
Cameron, what the hell are you doing right now?
I'm talking about Samwise Gamgee. This is Samwise Gamgee, not Sam Loyal Faithful. This is Samwise Gamgee.
One of them,
not one of the other 3 Sams.
This one, I think all the Sams care about food, which is nice.
Yes.
But this one is green-white. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, make a food. And when you can sacrifice 3 foods to return a historic card from your graveyard to your hand. And historic is artifacts, legendaries, or sagas. I thought this was really cool. It's like, if you want to play green-white mill, like just get your altered dimensions and then just like it's drawing a lot of cards.
Cameron, are you giving me ideas with my new
green-white mill? Yeah, green-white mill, like tutor, alter, dementia immediately. So I know tutors are cringe, but like you're in green-white, how else are you milling?
No, legitimately, I am now thinking about like, obviously this is a million pieces to make it happen.
Yeah.
But like add in some token doublers, get yourself
play Multani. Multani is the best green mill piece.
But one cost reducer for creatures or artifacts, and a ginger brute.
Oh, ew. Oh. There is some funny stuff you can do.
Because it's a food.
It's a food itself. It is a food.
Jason, Cameron, you're giving me too many ideas.
This does some fun things.
Yeah.
It does do some fun things.
Like, it's like recursion is in green and white's identity, but you don't see it on creatures as much. Like, they have it on spells. Like, Cosmic Rebirth is a new one. And then, what is, like, Safi Eric's daughter? But those are kind of, like, save effects, I guess, where it's like, oh, it died this turn, bring it back. I don't know. And there's also so much food support in this set that, like, being able to... The sacrificing 3 foods to recur a legendary... Or a historic permanent, I'm sorry. Something historic is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this seems pretty solid overall. You can probably do some pretty cool stuff with it. It's just one of those ones where it's like I haven't given much actual thought to it, so I don't like have something to present.
Yeah. There's only 120 other commanders in the set, Jason. You should be really looking into these.
Stop.
All right, for my 3rd commander, I'm going to talk about the mono blue one that takes other people's that you give horses to. Bree Swindler, I think it is.
Something along those lines.
I'm kidding. Go on.
Ethan, give me another one.
All right. So the second one I selected Galadriel of Lothlorien. How do you pronounce it? Honestly, you don't like any of like the Simic Scry commanders because I just.
Oh, this one?
Hey, can I have that one too?
I want that one. I want to build it. I got a foil full art. Borderless is sick.
That's literally the one. What? It was on my list, Cameron. It was on my list.
What about the Delighted Halfling?
You're going to keep that one anyway. I know. I'm not going to keep that. Why do you tempt me so, Cameron?
The ring. Oh, full circle. Full circle. Tempted.
That was unintentional, but I'm proud of you, Cameron. Anyway, so glad. Actually, no, Cameron, since you pulled the card, you tell everyone what it does.
All right, let me find it in this stack of large Magic cards that fucking any Magic player knows that's on their desk. Galadriel of Lothlorien is a legendary elf noble that when the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Galadriel as your ring bearer, scry 3, and whenever you scry, you can reveal the top card of your library, and if it's land, put it on the battlefield tapped.
So, one, it's also a Simic commander, 1 a green and a blue for a 3/3.
Simic on their bullshit.
Yes, very much so. I've been kind of wanting a good scry commander for a while. Scry support has always kind of felt weird because the best scry commanders are like Eligeth, which is a 6-drop. It's very powerful, but having a 6-drop in your command zone doesn't let you actually impact the board. And they had like Sinai, Eye of the Storm. That was a common pairing for mono blue scry. There was the Azorius Planeswalker one that does some scry stuff. But this is a very compact, powerful thing to be able to start using. I'm not sure how much tempt support there is in Simic, but just be able to say, hey, whenever you scry, whenever you cast Opt, even if it's top for every library, and then if it's a land on the battlefield. So like it ramps you. It's easy to get out on turn 2 because it's usually some 1-mana ramp you can find out pretty easy. And you start accruing value. I think it's a very powerful card, and I don't think it really puts a too big of a target on you. But I just want to play the Temporal Anchor, honestly. I just want to be able to do that one. I just want to play Temporal Anchor. I see. I just want an excuse to play that.
What is Temporal Anchor?
That's fair enough.
It's a 9-drop from... Is Commander Legends 2?
I'm looking it up. That fucking thing? Brothers War.
Brothers War. It was Brothers War? Yeah. Whenever you scry, you can instead just exile them and play the cards as a... if you were scry, you put them on the bottom, they get exiled instead. And then you can cast them from exile. And I just want to have some fun with that. It sounds
understandable.
Yeah, Commander's interesting.
No way, really?
Well, I know there's another Jumpstart commander that cares about scrying. I don't remember what it is exactly. If you would scry, like you scry one more, and then something.
It has
else?
sea monster support.
Yeah, sea monster.
It was a sea monster support as well as this. This is more focused on the scry.
Yeah,
and I like that it's more focused on the scry.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a really cool. Like the whole. Just giving scrying support is very neat. It is one of those things that's like kind of hit or miss. Like it's not the most exciting thing, but it's one of those things that just doesn't have enough support. So it's good to see it here.
And then in solid colors because Simic gets everything right.
Yeah, obviously it has to.
But it's got a lot of blue stuff and there's some good green scry support. And I'm really excited for this.
Yeah,
if Cameron didn't pull it, it won't let me build it.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of things that just let you scry. I want to build it
too.
So.
Well, it's not, but
someone will play it.
Jason,
all right. Yes.
What is next?
This is one of those commanders that is super hype. I'm probably never going to build or play it, but I think it's a really cool card, and I'm really glad it exists. It is Shelob, Child of Ungoliant. This is the Golgari Shelob, the 6-mana 8/8 legendary creature spider demon with Death Touch and Ward 2, and other spiders you control have Death Touch and Ward 2. And by the way, there's a book written on this card. Let me read it to you. Whenever another creature you controlled this turn, or whenever another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider you controlled dies. So spiders deal damage to something. Here's the effect that comes from it. Create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a food artifact with pay 2, tap, sacrifice this artifact, gain 3 life, and it loses all other card types, not abilities.
It's so fucking cool. It's such a flavor win. Would they no longer have to play Ishkana, the spider tribal, the spider tribal people? Ishkana is no longer...
Spiders eating good both literally and figuratively here. Like
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, did you know that there's a food token in this set that is literally just people in webs?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's great. This is like quintessential Commander of turning anything that is just a terrible card type into something that is glorious. Like spiders you now have a real incentive to play as many spiders as you possibly can. And the effect you get is kill your opponent's creatures, get that creature's effects for yourself.
Spiders and fight spells.
Mm-hmm. Spiders and fight spells. Like, yeah, you got to ramp to 6 mana to get this thing going, but Ward 2 goes a long way, like a really long way in protecting this thing. So you're going to be able to do a lot, and you're just in green, so, you can ramp to 8 mana if it gets killed once. You can ramp to 10 mana and still have a functional deck. It would just be a hard game. So, yeah, I just think Shelob's really, really cool.
Kind of a sidey, but can something have the same card type twice? Like, if you got a Ginger Brute with this, would it be a food artifact?
Well, it loses its other card types.
I guess so.
So it would just be food. But in theory, if you had something that was like, oh, this card gains all creature types, it would gain its creature type twice.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter, but
I really like this commander too. I kind of am sad that none of us played it for set release. But I do think it's going to get enough love just out and about and not necessarily with us,
Mm-hmm.
We can't play everything.
We could. It would only take, what's 120 over 4?
I do not want to play everything. Can we let me redact my previous statement.
30? I have to play 30 pods, that's it.
30
just
episodes?
30 pods.
Just half a year of episodes to play one set?
Hey, you guys like Lord of the Rings again? What about again?
Welcome back to another episode.
Lord of the Rings.
Episode 25 of our 30-part Lord of the Rings.
There is absolutely a second breakfast joke in here, but I'm skipping it. Let's go on to the next card.
And I'll just go ahead and jump in line again.
Go for it.
Hey, you know what? It's not my birthday, but it's a Bilbo's birthday. A Bilbo birthday celebrant, Abzan commander for a 2/3 legendary creature, halfling rogue. If you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. They pay 2, a white, a black, and a green. Tap it and exile it. Search the library for any number of creature cards, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate if you have 111 life or more. So, 1, Abzan life gain. Cool.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
I love it
cool, though.
So we had Chandler play it on our set release video. Again, go check that video out if you haven't yet. The card did a lot. It really showed a lot of powerful stuff there. Just that 1 life, if you're playing things like that, like whenever a creature enters, you gain a life, a la Soul Warden or the like cards, that extra life adds up a lot.
You're doubling on a Soul Warden, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, doubling a Soul Warden trigger is insane. Like, if you're doing, like, mass life gain, the 1 isn't that much. But if you're doing incremental, it really ramps you up there. He did not activate that ability, sadly, because we kept on having to target him so he would not just win the game. But getting all creatures out of your deck to show up for Bilbo's birthday is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
A side note, I hate that this is the Abzan commander and the other Bilbo for the main set is it? So he's all 5 colors, but like that's from the same thing.
I believe he's at the same party too. Like
he's at the same party,
yeah.
And he's different. Am I wrong to be bothered by that? Does that not just feel it for what we talk about like color pie? It just feels like sometimes the colors are just kind of thrown at these characters. Yeah. Just to make things work. And that's my only... I guess go back to like my thoughts on the set. That's my biggest complaint is sometimes the colors just don't seem to make sense. But maybe I'm not looking at it from a deep enough... Maybe I'm not being analytical enough to understand, but like...
Yeah, that's it.
Realistically, I would argue that if you're going by like flavor of the character and you actually care, Bilbo does make a little more sense as a blue-red, or at least red and white.
He's stealing treasure. Like, that's his whole thing back in, like, when that's why he went with the, he was the smuggler. He was the thief.
Yeah.
So, like, red-black, maybe? But I don't think he was never, like, I guess, They can be good guys in black.
Yeah, it was more about like, oh yeah, but it was more like saying like white would be a part of a color identity mainly because of group orientation, like really keeping the group together, focusing on that those relationships and balancing stats. But that said, there's no red, white Bilbo, and I don't quite see why he would be Abzan, but I absolutely see why the Shire is Abzan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, trade-offs, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to complain about it too much. It just, the colors in this set just feel a little bit kind of thrown around and make mechanics work, which on a gameplay level, I get. I just wish it felt more correct to what my understanding of the story is. But my understanding is incorrect, then I am more than happy to reassess and go from there.
Yeah. Anyway, any more on Bilbo, or we're good?
I think I'm going to go.
He gained a life. He gained a life at his birthday.
I got one more.
Right, go for
it. King of the Oathbreakers, 2 and black-white for a flying spirit noble. When it or another spirit you control becomes the target of a spell, it phases out. And whenever King of the Oathbreakers or another spirit you control phases in, make a 1/1 white tapped flying spirit creature token. Did anybody order black-white spirits instead of blue-white spirits?
Did anybody order black-white spirits that want you to cast spells that target your whole board?
Yes, so I have a deck made for him. There's a lot of the weird, like, one-man. I think there's one that's in white-black. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. But it any number of target creatures gain persist. So if you have a board of 9, they immediately just all phase out, and then when they phase back in, you double your board.
I remember the card, and I'm blanking on it because I ran that in Felisa,
that's in the deck.
One.
No, not Felice.
Cauldron Haze. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there we go.
Good job.
I'm proud of myself. Yay!
But like it gets out of hand pretty fast. I have a deck built because I was on stream and Matt was gonna build it, and Matt was like, "Oh, this is gonna be tough." And so I just told Chad, I was like, "Okay, I'll build it and play it at some point." So I did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is just black-white tokens at the end of the day, but it's kind of a cool flavor of doing it, targeting all your stuff. Your commander does not die to spot removal; it just doesn't, which is nice.
That's true.
That's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, and also you can also double up using your own spot removal as protection spells now.
Yep.
Fatal Pusher Commander.
being able to double, like, with it gets out of hand with like Anointed Procession, doubling, and then also it's good. I think this is actually a pretty decent Convoke commander in black-white.
Kind of. The tokens coming into play tapped hurts a lot, but
yeah, but that is on. I guess that's on your. When does phase in happen? Just the beginning of your turn.
Yes.
Okay. It's not like
before
an upkeep thing. It just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It happens before you untap.
Yeah.
However, any triggers that would happen as a result of this happen in your upkeep.
The best part about phasing is having to explain to new Magic players what the fuck phasing is.
There's a reason that we took phasing away for so long.
But like, why? Okay, unrelated side tangent. Why is it back?
The way I've heard it explained that made the most sense to me is it was at a game store that we played Legacy at. You put a bowl over it. Anything and everything attached to it, a bowl over it. Doesn't exist. It's not there. No. When it comes to your turn, take the bowl off. They're back. Mm-hmm. And
how would you feel if you phased out without your clothes? Huh? Tell me.
I just think it was a really cool lane for black-white to be in, like a phasing matters, targeting spells, command, interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. All right. The last of my top 3 commanders I'm going to talk about is Sauron the Dark Lord. This is the 6-mana Grixis Sauron for a 6-mana for a 7/6 legendary creature avatar horror. Love the creature types on this, by the way. Mm-hmm. Glad they went with avatar and not god on this one.
Yeah.
And it's got Ward. Sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. Your opponents are not targeting this thing. Nope. Not lightly. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass 1 or amass Orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. And whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4.
Jason, you like commanders with walls of text. This and Shelob.
Yeah, there's been a lot of walls of text this time.
It's a cool commander, though.
Yeah, we played this on the game night. Matt played this. He named the deck Making Jason Happy, which I was like, good job, buddy.
It was in our first set release video, too, that came out last Friday. Go check it out if you haven't.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, the last video that'll come out with the second set release, but whatever. You know what to look for. Sauron the Dark Lord is... amass 1 anytime your opponents cast a spell is a lot. And by a lot, I mean like a ton. Like, Matt was getting up to, almost 2020?
He had the new orc that doubled counters whenever you amass.
True.
So that's what made it get out of hand that fast. But like Mana Gorger Hydra on a commander, build a Mana Gorger, and like added bonus when the ring tempts you.
Yeah. And one of the other things that's cool about this is, so just how all of these mechanics work together. Obviously, it protects itself very well. Anytime your opponent goes to remove your commander with a removal spell, you're at least going to amass 1. So using the ring to tempt you to get more advantage is powerful. You can choose to put it on your army. You can choose to put it on something else. If you put it on the army, you can give trample to your army. Cool. Also, this is a Grixis commander that highly encourages playing a lot of ramp spells, so whenever the ring tempts you, you discard your hand to draw 4 cards. This is a Grixis deck that wants to get empty-handed pretty quickly, actually, which is a little uncommon for Grixis decks. So, again, just a lot of cool things you can do with this. Do you want to play Madness? You got Madness options. You want to play with your Flyers? You got Flyer options. It's another creature-based deck without requiring you to actually play that many creatures. So... I just think it's neat.
No, I really like how well this commander, it kind of does everything because it makes the orcs you need to get in to refill your hand. Like it what's the SNL? Like it does this commander has it all.
Yeah, it just does a lot of really cool stuff. I will say that I don't necessarily believe like this is the most powerful commander out of this or anything like that. I just think it's neat.
I just think that's neat.
I really do like the ward. It's also very flavorful. Like, and people aren't gonna pay that cost unless it's like, oh shit, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. Also, because this is bound to get a question sooner or later. Amass did get an errata. The old Amass cards are Amass zombies. So anytime that you amass zombies or if you amass orcs, they become one big army that shares both of those creature types.
Zombie orc army.
You can have a zombie orc army. And that's awesome. Alright. So, let's move on to our individual cards that we just wanted to talk about. Survey says...
I'll go first.
Cool.
Alright.
No, actually, I refuse. Hey, Cameron, let's talk about the best card in the set. Field-tested frying pan.
God damn it.
Okay.
Is a meme.
This is rigged.
Oh, you do have Delighted Halfling, Ethan. Okay. I just mentioned Delighted Halfling. Go ahead. I was going to be like, oh, weren't going to mention it, but this card's probably one of the best cards in the set.
Here's the thing is, I picked up Cycle that you left off. So, Field-tested frying pan is a joke. It's a card. It's a white card. It exists. Okay, the real card, I was going to mention, Delighted Halfling. It is a 1-mana green spell. So already pretty good. Oh, Cameron showed off his other Delighted Halfling pool.
This is all from one pack, Cameron. By the way. I've only got one pack of this set. Everything I've shown you is from one collector's pack. Right here.
This man took your hopes and dreams.
I also got the Minamo. So I was pretty happy with that.
What? You literally got everything I want out of this damn set. You're shitting me.
I'm ready to untap my cradles. Moving on.
Alright.
I need a second. What?
I'll read off Delighted Halfling since I have the card right here. Delighted
Halfling. No. Shut up. No. Delighted Halfling. It's a 1-mana 1/2. Already decent rate. It's a Halfling citizen. Sure. You can tap to add a colorless. But we don't care about that. You can tap to also add 1 mana any color. Spin this mana, only cast a legendary spell. Already alright. And that spell can't be countered. What now? Did I hear a turn to Uncounterable to Fairy Time Raveler?
I was thinking like turn to Uncountable Najila. That was my first thought. Like, oh, Najila is just
I'm sorry.
Uncountable Najila.
I watch a lot of modern content for some reason, so that's why my mind went to. Turn to Uncountable Najila sounds pretty good. Turn to
it is legendary
Incubator
spell. So like, you want your Allhammer its archive to slam? All right, got this.
Yeah.
That was my first
instance and sorceries are an option.
Well, I mean, like
that too.
Yeah,
Sagas.
I mean, yeah, but
spicy.
I was gonna say, if you're talking about like Allhammer's archive, you know the best way to get that is just Goblin mode.
Well, Boreal Druid just became Mom. We have delighted halfling at home.
Yeah, you really did.
Rip my boy Boreal Druid unless you're in an Elves deck.
Or Druid's deck for some reason.
I'm still processing. You literally pulled like the one land that got printed I wanted. You literally pulled like one of the commanders I wanted to play.
Two
and delighted halfling. Okay, so I'm gonna just.
Ethan has left the podcast.
Here's the Lobelia Sackville Bagginses too that we've talked about. My pack was good, but
yeah, it was a good pack.
I did when I last looked at the script. We didn't have Delighted Halfling, so I was gonna go into this saying like we know Delighted Halfling is good. Moving on, but
I picked up where you left off.
We appreciate you and love you.
Haha.
Kissies.
Even the Manamo, if you love me that much.
I don't love you that much. But
what if I trade you my foil Stormcrow?
Oh, tempting, but still no. I can't make my Stormcrow encounter.
It's a black border foil Stormcrow. Come on.
That was your storm counter.
It was my storm counter. Still in the same sleeve from 7 years ago.
But yeah, Delighted Halfling good. Jason, you want to talk about a card?
Yeah, sure. Talking about ones that also I think have a bit of modern potential. I really want to talk about Flowering of the White Tree, which is a card that... So it is 2 white for a legendary enchantment that says, legendary creatures you control get +2/+1 and have ward 1. Non-legendary creatures you control get +1/+1. So we just have a 2-mana anthem that works on all of your creatures. This is the best anthem in the game, I would say. Just as a straight up +1/+1 anthem. Mm-hmm. The thing that I'm particularly interested in with this card is, obviously this is a set with Legendary Matters, so Legendary Matters commander decks just got a huge bump. If you want to play Dahada, like, you're having a good time. But the other thing that I really like about this is its implication in Modern, just because, hey, do you want to swing with a 4/2 Ragavan on turn 2?
Oh! Oh!
Well, my Fairmind went to, like, a 4/3 Thalia, or 4/2 Thalia with Ward 1 First Strike, but you're more degenerate than I.
Hey, that's fair. I'm swinging with a monkey.
Swing with the monkey.
I made my Savannah Lion a double Savannah Lion. How do you feel about that?
I really like this card too. Like, anthems don't see much play outside of Commander, and even then, like, what is it, Cathar's Crusade? I guess you could say is an anthem.
That card's just kind of good.
It's busted.
Hey, sure.
But
like Beastmaster Ascension is like an anthem, I'd say. That just sees a lot of play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think it is, as Jason said, just the best. Like, if you want to play the white +1/+1 anthem, this is the best one now.
Yeah. Especially if you're in mono white, which is also something nice about it. Grid. Double white is a serious limiting factor on how well this card can perform. It really is. That said, double white is not that bad. So you're going to be able to do a lot with this card, and you don't need to play this on turn 2 for it to be good. In fact, it's a little bit better after you've established your board. So,
yep.
Yeah, just all around great card. I love it. Moving on.
All right, I would like to talk about a card. My card I want to talk about is Call of the Ring.
Did you pull that one too?
I did not. It is 1 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. And whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, pay 2 life. You may pay 2 life if you do draw a card. In decks that care about the ring tempting you every turn, like my Smeagol, this is probably the most consistent way to get that ring tempt and get the ball moving to get to the, like, I guess it doesn't matter too much to get to the 4th. Honestly, the one that matters to me most is getting to the 2nd level to be able to loot when you attack. But the thing is we as a channel, like, condemn Phyrexian Arena as a card. It's bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
I do. I think it's a straight up awful card. Like,
it's okay, but it's
okay,
not good
so
enough to play in most
for all
decks.
of us, Cameron.
You're
not
welcome.
All of us can pull. Not all of us can pull. Minamo reprints, and not all of us can be cool like you and have hot takes.
Okay, let me restate what I mean. I think Phyrexian Arena, outside of maybe like mono black, is dog water. Like, bad. Play Black Market Connections because you can at least draw the card on on your turn. Play it turn 4, draw the card immediately. Wait, am I thinking of the? No, I'm thinking of the Phyrexian Underworld Connection, not Black Market. But I mean, Black Market Connection is also just better Phyrexian Arena. But,
you say that Underworld Connection is the one that you have to tap a land for every turn. It's better than
I do because you can at least draw the card you can play it.
Interesting.
Like Phyrexian Arena, you're not getting anything until your next turn. You play it on turn 3. The game lasts 5 turns, or 5 more turn, like turn 8. I've just never been impressed with it. I think roundabout way, I think this is just better Phyrexian Arena. My only stipulation is that I don't know if you can choose the same creature to be your ring bearer and draw the card again. So like if you already have an established ring bearer, you can be like, oh, I choose this to be my ring bearer.
I believe you do.
Yeah, I think you can. So
you can choose the same ring bearer every time if you want.
Well, let me actually pull this on Strifle.
And I say this as the guy who's firmly said, I'm not really bothering learning how this mechanic works in its entirety.
But I think that like you can get incremental value off the ring, and then like it's 1 more life, but also 1 less mana. I think this card's fine. I'm not saying like it's great, but I think
you also just get the value from the ring tempting you as well. So once you get to the looting phase, like you're doing fine.
Yep, you're coming out pretty ahead.
What's the first part of it? It's like it makes it a legendary creature. It's like Skulk. Where does Skulk fall into this, or something along those lines? Some sort of evasion.
There is a golem with Skulk. I know. Not that I'd play it, but
I don't know. This mechanic's interesting, but it's weird.
I like the card. I like the art on it too. It's Frodo, like with the ring and the flavor text says the ring is mine. It's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't notice that this is an auto-fin Stark, which is they do good art. I really like their art.
That is, yeah, the art is sick.
I followed them on Twitter not too long ago, just because I felt like it.
You need not another reason.
All right, let's have Ethan do another one before his gets stolen again.
Cameron, did you pull a Storm of Saruman? He's checking. This man right here is checking and see if he pulled one.
No.
Okay.
I did.
So Storm of Saruman is a 6-drop enchantment, 4 and 2 blue with Ward 3, which part of the reason I really like this card. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it's similar to Double Vision in a sense, right? Because Double Vision, whenever you cast your first instant sorcery. Yeah, it's just spell. Yeah. Correct. So 1, it's mono blue. The 2 blue is a little bit of a cost, but not too bad really. At 6 mana, at that point, you should have a lot of colors to put towards it. The Ward 3 Protect itself is pretty powerful, and it's any spell, but the second spell. So that's where it gets a little bit more balanced is the second spell, but you could copy a powerful spell.
And the copy isn't legendary.
Copy is not legendary. So
2 commanders.
You could double. I was gonna say you could copy your commander and do a lot of shenanigans with that. I mean, it's just a powerful card. The mana cost restricts it quite a bit, but I think that's fine.
If you have a follow-up
makes it balanced.
For this card, that makes it very powerful. Immediately being able to, like, double up. Like, even if it's just like, okay, I cast this, then Rampant Growth. It's like, okay, yeah, 2 mana, go get 2 lands.
I mean, you cast that, and you, like, source the Plowshares, and you exile 2 commanders. Like, I think it's pretty powerful. I mean, granted, that is 6 mana as your first spell for the turn. Following that up is a little bit harder to do.
Yeah.
But if you're playing green, you can do it pretty easily. This ooh. I just realized Cascade decks.
Yeah.
With this.
Oh, it does work, yeah.
So like Emoti or like the Gandalf, the Gandalf Westward Voyager, the Simic one I mentioned earlier, was mentioned that Cameron pulled.
As
that one,
all your hopes and dreams.
Spell. Yeah, all my hopes and dreams were found in that pack of, except for the one true ring. But
as Ethan said,
debate.
I think it's really important that this has Ward 3, especially with it being an enchantment, because like at least with the commander creatures with Ward, you're like, oh, I have a board wipe. There's not many people play board wipes for enchantments. There's like Bane of Progress, and
this set has had some really sticky threats. What was it? The Sauron?
Sauron.
Yeah, legendary creature or legendary artifact. You had to sacrifice one of those.
There's the Esper Sauron.
King of the Oathbreakers.
King of the Oathbreakers can't really remove. The Esper
Saruman,
really you have to discard some stuff on that one. I don't
it's like instant sorcery or enchantment or something like that.
Yeah, there's a few things you get to discard for the ward cost. Like these are particularly sticky threats I'm seeing in this set, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I don't really have an opinion on that too much, but it is interesting to see them having more ward, a more restrictive ward cost rather than just mana cost there. And putting a ward cost on an enchantment like this is really interesting game design. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how this kind of develops in later sets.
Yeah, it's quite cool. I think it's neat overall. I will say that this was kind of like my choice for slightly overpriced Mythic, because I feel like you could do 5 mana without the ward on this and have the same effect, and it would be perfectly fine. But at the same time, at 6 mana, it's good. Like, it's good. If you're at 6 mana, you're casting this, you're going to be able to double up some high value spells.
I really liked ward as a mechanic. I wasn't sure how I'd feel on it, but like,
ward is such a good fix.
Yeah,
for
as opposed to as an additional cost to target this spell, its owner must pay 3 mana. Like, or just.
I mean, even better. It's just a better.
Yeah,
it's so much better for limited than hexproof.
Oh, hexproof and pro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it feels so much more engaging. Protection has its day. It's usually on temporary effects, right? So it's cool. But this ward is just so much better than playing against hexproof.
From a casual perspective, the ward does have some feel bads if you have a rule stickler. This is ward. You just lose out in your spell because you didn't read it close enough.
It's a counter.
That's the only. Yeah, so it counters it. It does not just say you can't cast it. That is the only downside. But from a competitive or like a competitive standpoint, I think it's a much better effect. And it also leads to increasing tighter play in players. So making you have those little moments in your own competitive play.
But the onus is also on the player with the permanent with ward to state ward trigger, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
ward triggers.
Yeah, but like you're not going to let the opponent just retract their spells. Like, oh, there's a ward trigger. Never mind. In a competitive environment.
Oh, fair.
So if you say ward trigger, it's like, oh crap, I forgot I have ward. Sucks to be you, right? But in a casual, I'll let people rewind that because like.
I mean, absolutely. We're here for fun games of Commander. Taking back rules is. Or take back step is a real step, and use it. Just
use it liberally.
Well, I will say, don't go over too much on it.
Episode 30. We're talking about take backsies.
That's actually a good one.
Let's talk about it. I'll be down for it.
I'm calling that next episode. Let's figure that take backsies and the rules on that.
Sure. Okay. Takes backsies. All right.
Next card.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to the next card. The card that everyone would like to take backsies. I want to do the One Ring. You can take it as much as you want, but this card's... Alright, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this card, because this was the first card, literally the first card spoiled for this set. And literally everyone and their mother has opinions on this and has seen it. But I will say that even as a fair card, this is very powerful. 4 mana for the One Ring, legendary artifact, it's indestructible. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn. Great effect. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring, and then tap, put a burden counter on the One Ring, and then draw a card for each burden counter on the ring. So, when you play this card fairly, it's tap, lose a life, draw a card, tap, lose 2 life, draw 2 cards, tap, lose 3 life, draw 3 cards, tap, lose 4 life, draw 4 cards. And at that point, you're either dead or winning the game. So... You're drawing 10 cards on one thing over 4 turns. Like, come on. But the big thing on this is when you play it unfairly. Because a lot of people go and say, like, oh, I don't... 10 life for 10 cards, like, that's a good rate and all, but that's painful. And what if you get to a point where you can't draw any more cards? And it's like, Sure. But you know what's even better? Playing this card unfairly, drawing 10 cards, and then never losing any life because you just win the game, or you just lose 4 life on the next turn, and then you draw 20 more cards. Mm-hmm. Like, get yourself a Clock of Omens, get yourself an Unwinding Clock.
Minamo will take you. And one thing to consider in constructed environments, not just Commander, hey, you can just play your second The One Ring in your deck, or tutor out the one in your sideboard with Karn, and then reset the counters and get protection again, and just keep going that way. I didn't think about it. I always thought it's a Commander in mind, but like in constructed, it's pretty good. I think like Tron is starting to play it now.
You actually are really making me wonder about whether or not there is something to do, whether or not the One Ring should be played in a version of Twiddlestorm and Pioneer.
Be interesting.
Oh,
it's not legal though, is it?
That's true. It's not going to be.
Oh, you're right.
It's straight to modern, not Pioneer. No.
Twiddlestorm Modern, baby.
It exists.
Modern Twiddlestorm is that is a thing. Blue red Twiddlestorm is a thing. That's a meme, but it's a thing.
Exist and is good are not the same. All right.
Very true.
Like we could. That's a whole tangent too.
Yeah.
The One Ring, it's pretty good. And does some dumb things. And you know what? Everyone wants it when it hits the battlefield, because drawing that many cards is good.
I had mine stolen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
But like in the game, the one of one has not been found, correct? Right?
No.
Okay,
no. All the claims have been fake so far.
Okay.
Hey, very importantly, nose goes.
Cameron.
That looked like a Cameron going a little bit.
Does that mean it's my turn?
There. Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Forge Anew, another card that could see like constructed play. But I like it.
Shout out to Gutty.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gutty. This is his favorite card in the set.
Thank you, Gutty. Forge Anew is 2 and a white for an enchantment that when an ETB, return target equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Great effect on its own. But also, as long as it's your turn, you can activate equip abilities at instant speed. Okay, we could stop there, but no, we're not stopping there. The first equip ability you activate on your turn costs 0.
Yep.
Stop. Hammer time.
It reminds me of a lot of Sigarda's Aid. Like I get Sigarda's Aid
Yes.
vibes. Sigarda's Aid does more things than it should, and so does this. And they're both white enchantments to care about equipments.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want the spicy brew that people are working on in Modern with this card?
All right, let's hear it.
Hit me with it.
All right. So, important thing of equipping at instant speed and being able to pay 0 for it.
Yes.
And reanimating. All 3 of these things are going to happen in one turn using a Cauldron Complete.
Oh, I know what you're about to talk about. We're
going to discard a Cauldron Complete. We're going to reanimate it with Forge Anew. Swing with the token and a 1/1 or whatever creature that you have in play as well. We're going to do first strike damage with the Cauldron Complete.
Oh, no.
The Germ is going to do its first strike damage. And then, before we move to the normal damage, we're going to equip at instant speed onto the other thing. So that Cauldron Complete just did 10 damage in a single turn. Oh, no. And we still have our Indestructible Germ or Indestructible 1/1 that we have in play. So, like...
Oh, no.
Spicy.
And don't forget, they block anything Cauldron Complete just exiles things it deals damage to.
Yes, so you can get 2 instances of exiling as well.
Oh no!
Very good.
Funny thing. Like I'm thinking in my head, like as a Voltron player at heart, if this were a 2 mana or a 3 mana like sorcery to return target equipment from the graveyard to the battlefield, I'd probably play that. You know.
But guess what?
But guess what? But Billy May, I'm not done yet. Phil Swift.
Yeah, like Fortune is a super sweet card.
I like it.
It's got a lot of play to it. I will say that I think no offense to you, Gutty, because we're giving you a shout out, but I do think you are overhyping this for like mono white decks. Because if you are not reanimating something with this, I think you're losing a lot of value.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a Sword of Feast and Famine, then generally it's going to get destroyed.
You could do the same thing
with powerful equipment.
You could do the same
thing.
Or
if it's Cameron's Sunforger, Cameron gets to reanimate Sunforger. So, like, it's Cameron's favorite card ever printed now.
Mm-hmm. Shit, I gotta build a Boros fucking equipment deck again.
No, Cameron. Why do I open my damn mouth?
Jeskai.
Why did I say something?
I'm gonna build Jeskai so that I can get counter spells off of Sunforger.
Next episode.
Okay, so moving on. I'm not going to let Cameron talk about such horrific.
Spicy Boros.
I'm going to go
all
again.
the spicy Boros.
I'm going to go again.
No, not allowed. So hey, my third card, Last March of the Ents. I got it. So Last March of the Ents, I believe. Let me go scroll down to the green things on Scryfall, not sponsored. Last March of the Ents.
Card's good.
L's, right? Yep. It's a 8-drop sorcery, 6 and then 2 green. This spell can't be countered. Pretty poggers, right? Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So it's kind of like Riskar's Expertise, but debatably almost better, right? You can get more things off of it. So whereas Riskar's Expertise might cast 1 spell, you can potentially cheat in 3 or 4 creatures, so a higher mana cost of things. Though Riskar's does not limit you to creatures, so it is similar to that. It's also a big dumb green spell that go burr, and I like it.
Chandler like.
Yeah, I'll say that most times when I see a Riskar's Expertise, it's usually drawing 6 cards and then putting 1 thing into play. And that 1 thing is 5 mana value or less, which is very good.
Mana cost.
This does not care about mana cost.
You can put a Blight Steal in off of this.
Yeah, you can just throw your Eldrazi into play. Easy. Perhaps the thing that makes it kind of more in the broken category of things is you can put 2-card combos into play.
Oh, that, ew.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. Gross.
Yeah, that's a less fun option, but I mean, that's a fun option.
I like with this card that, like, I can't think of any other time this effect cared about toughness. It's always cared about power. So, and obviously this is like Ents or Tree Folk, so like, sure, like it makes sense for this kind of thing. But I don't know, I just think it's cool that, like, you know, you could play your a Tree Folk that's an 08, and like it's 3 mana, and you draw 8 cards, and you know, I'm thinking of it fairly. Jason wants to put Thoracle and Leveler into play.
I did think about those too. I was also thinking about Kiki Chiki and Zealous Conscripts.
That too.
Don't worry about
Sack Outlet and Phyrexian, or in Protein Hulk.
I was going to say, exactly, Protein Hulk.
Protein Hulk and a ham sandwich.
One of the dumb things I was also thinking about is if you're playing this in a green deck, you're probably playing like the stupid tree that sets its life and 13 toughness, whatever.
Tree of Perdition.
Tree of Redemption? Or
Tree of Redemption. That's the one I'm thinking of right away.
The one that sets your own life at 13.
Yeah. Or is it 13 or 20? I don't know.
13.
But
it's 13. So both of those care about 13. Perdition changes opponent's life totals, whereas Redemption changes your own.
Yeah. Either way. You're probably playing those cards in your deck and just drawing 13 and putting 13, like, and you can probably find some dumb twiddly things to do with those cards as well. So, there you go. Fun things to do.
Put Cephalid Breakfast in off this.
You could. It's no Yorgrim Multani Storm. If you want to see something like that go off, we have a video of that on the channel where I'm drawing 18 cards per a card like this. With like Riskar's Expertise. That was a good day.
Cameron, you just made me think of something really dumb to do.
What?
Hit me with it.
When you said So, Inside Out combo with Tireless Tribe. When you discard a card to give a creature +0/+4?
Yeah, I know that. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I dig that.
Jason brewing with the Selesnya combos.
Okay. That might be something to work on.
Not many white discard outlets.
No. Nope. Not a whole lot of big white big card draw effects in white either, so there you go.
Cool card.
Hey, Secret Rendezvous. Best white card ever printed, right?
Get out of here.
Go away.
Get out.
All right. I have a whole cycle I'd like to talk about, but I'm going to refrain from talking about the whole cycle. It's the land cycle. And I would like to focus primarily on Minas Tirith, which is a white legendary land that they all enter the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. You can tap it to add a white, or 1 and a white, tap it to draw a card, and activate only if you've attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. I think I always like having utility lands, and the opportunity cost seems fairly low. Like at their worst, they're a tap land, but at their best, like it's card advantage in white, especially in like mono white weenie or like Boros, where any card advantage you can get anywhere is good, and this one fills that role.
Yeah. I'm not huge on these lands because I don't like basics that can come into play tapped for much of any reason.
That's fair.
Unless I have a lot of control over that. Like, the MDFCs that you can bolt yourself to play. Like, I rarely play those lands except for, like, Shadow Skull Smashing, because it's a removable spell.
Right.
But these ones, they do fine things. A little costly, but they do fine things.
A little bit, but, like, I think especially in Commander, like, if you're really low to the ground with your Commander and your Commander's only a couple mana, like, the good ones, like the white one, I think are worth playing. Some of them are bad, like Barad Doer. I will shit on that one, the black one. It's XX black to tap and amass Orcs X and activate only if a creature died this turn. So 3 mana, get a 1/1, but you can only do it if a creature died.
Hey, it is a mana sink. It does not say sorcery speed only.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You can do it on opponent's turns, and you can get a big old beater for the next turn after a board wipe.
It's okay.
Honestly, this might be the best one in Limited.
Yeah, in Limited, absolutely. Limited
like,
mind.
That's pretty brutal. Your opponent goes to attack you, you block, and you just make a bigger orc.
I hate to bring up another one, but the Shire seems really good in Limited, too.
Oh, just tapping your thing, you make a food. Yeah.
Gain 3 life every turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite positive. It's a good resource.
Interesting lands. I always like going through the land cycles when they introduce new ones.
Absolutely. And it's nice that they've been giving some attention to monocolored, like, legendary lands or monocolored utility lands.
Yep.
I still think channel lands were a bit of a mistake, but that's...
What lands?
The channel lands from Kamigawa.
Oh, yeah, they were a huge mistake. Moving on.
It's like... yeah. All right. Last card we're going to talk about is, I'm slightly cheating here because it's a legendary creature, but I don't want to talk about it for being a legendary creature. I want to talk about it for being in the deck of legendary decks. Gandalf the White. 5 mana for a 4/5 legendary creature, avatar wizard. Flash. You may cast legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had flash, and if a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes an ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that triggers an additional time. So we have a Panharmonicon for legendary and artifacts.
That's really cool.
I'm listening.
And also triggering when it leaves. So, Ethan, would you like to draw 4 cards with your Ichor Wellspring?
Yes, I'd love to also tutor out 4 lands with my Mycosynth Wellspring.
We don't talk about that one.
I also like the flash.
Hey, I have a foil. Please let me play it.
Hey,
I spent $5 on it. Mm-hmm. Was not a good purchase, but it's okay.
I would like to make 12 mirror tokens off this mirror battle sphere when I sacrifice it.
Oh. But it's 16.
Why would it be 16? Because
Well,
you
why is
one.
it- why is
First
it-
one.
why is
Oh,
it
it's
12?
8. Never mind. You're right. It's 16. I'm fucking stupid.
Hold on.
Yeah,
You would make 8, but it doesn't have a leave the battlefield trigger.
Yeah, I
so
was gonna
that's
say, like-
not costing anything.
So you're making
Yeah.
8. I can't math. I hate everything. I'm dying.
But
We all
more
are
importantly,
dying.
though, this... Okay, so... I wasn't going to talk about this much as a commander, but as a commander, this thing does have a lot of... Like, this is a really good artifact sack combo deck if you wanted to play that way, because you get your Shimmer... You get your Shimmer Mirror in the command zone, so to speak, and it means that anytime you sacrifice a Mirror Retriever, you're getting 2 things back. So...
Yeah.
Card advantage.
Yeah, well, it gets itself back, more importantly. So this creates a whole lot of, like, cost reducer-based, like, 2-card combos.
Cost reducer based bullshit.
Yeah, and you can do it at instant speed. Yeah. So...
Yay.
So this commander is really cool. It makes me hate Elish Norn Mother Machines even more, because my mind is just like, is Elish Norn just better than this still? Even though, like, if you wanted to play that artifact, like, ETB bullshit, and it's like, probably. And I hate that.
I mean, Elish Norn Mother of Machines triggers on all ETBs, not just legendary ones. But again, the thing I wanted to talk about was this in a legendary context.
Yes.
Where, like, oh, this is so cool, where you get to do a whole bunch of, like, legendary ETBs and leaving the battlefield and doing cool stuff and playing at flash speed. If anybody's had the pleasure of playing with or against a Raf Kafashan deck, like, oh, that's so much fun to do. Like, there's just making all of your spells functionally instant speed is really, really cool. It's just really cool to do this type of thing.
You know the best part about this card?
When you makes your Elish Norn instant speed?
When you cast the One Ring, you get protection until your next turn twice. Not that that matters, but it's funny.
there's some cool stuff to do. That's also, this has cool Magali art again, and Magali's a great artist. So
that is sick art.
Magali doesn't miss. She really doesn't. All right, let's move on to our next section. We talked about it we mentioned it in the intro. We're talking about Orcish Bowmasters. None of us put this on our list because obviously this is like the best card in the set. And I don't know if that's a particularly bold statement.
That or like Delighted Halfling, maybe. But this is really good.
This card is very
so
good.
Dumb.
Can we just go to state the obvious? This card is very good. It does really powerful things. It is in the main set. So this is modern legal, which means cool stuff in modern is legacy legal. So in a format of Griselbrand, it is particularly interesting.
Holy shit!
Yes, Cameron had a big old wow face. Yes.
Oh! You just reminded me of something. Okay, I think it was.
That's awesome.
No, I feel so bad that I can't remember who was the content creator who did this. Well, it's a Twitter-based content creator, but there was somebody on Twitter who had a really fun poll, which was, all right, your opponent... Golgari guy did it. Excellent.
I follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. If your opponent has reanimated a Griselbrand and goes to draw, and they were at 19 when this started, and should mention that they didn't lose any life to get the Griselbrand in play, so they're now down to 12. You flash in an Orcish Bowmaster. Where does the damage go? Does it go to face, or does it go to the Griselbrand?
You said it goes to face.
I think it would go to face, yeah.
I remember that because my Twitter on my phone was popping off because you start getting likes and stuff on it.
Fuck yeah, it goes face.
Mm-hmm.
There's debate of, like, would you kill the Griselbrand? But, like, why not kill the, like, anytime they would draw more cards, you could just hit their face again. So, really, they can't get any more life.
I mean, obviously, I've heard this thing with, like, Brainstorm. It kills my Delver. It's like, fuck Delver, dude. Well, Delver's not even played anymore.
Oh, no. Okay. Actually, I guess I should... Okay, so Orcish Bowmaster, because we didn't actually read this card.
They know already, right?
They probably do, but... so this is 1 and a black for a 1/1 Orc Archer. Terrible start, obviously. Has Flash. Okay, we're improving. Whenever Orcish Bowmasters enters the battlefield or whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first one they draw during each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmaster deals 1 damage to any target, then amass Orcs 1. So, at this thing's absolute worst, this is raise the alarm plus deal 1 damage.
Yes.
In black.
In black. Mono black.
Where Dark Ritual's a thing.
Correct.
Literally just like, it's so many... I'm just thinking of all the X1s in any format.
Yeah.
It's just like...
At its best, you cast Wheel of Fortune and make a 21/21, 22/22, in addition to the 1 damage you got from this thing entering the battlefield, because for some reason it does this when it enters the battlefield. It's really, really good. Just a ridiculous card overall, in terms of its power. There's a lot of great potential with what you can do with this. But the thing that's very interesting and we want to talk about is, because obviously, we all agree, this card is strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Without a doubt. There has already been calls to ban this thing in Casual Commander. Not in Legacy, not in Modern, Casual Commander.
The card has been legal for like 5 days.
Technically, it's not even legal yet.
It's legally played based on pre-release. The card is not even officially released until 2 days from now at the recording. On the 23rd. So we're recording the 21st of June. Can people cool their jets for a minute? Can we play the card? Because like we've seen this with the Xander, Lord Xander. Saw this with Bootlegger Stash. Most of these cards that people are hyping up have not impacted the format that people are expecting. Or prophesying the end times. Alright? It's a good card. It will definitely see CDH play. You'll probably see some casual play. But it's not... I don't think... And I can be lampooned for this later in the year if it gets banned, and I'll take it. We need to play with the card first before we call for it to be banned. Can we all agree on that, maybe?
Hot take.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Playing with the card before
we just assume.
Yes, I'm kidding. No.
We should test our hypotheses.
Hot take.
Scientific method out the window.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this card is... It's really good. I don't think it's going to be ban-worthy. I do think that there is maybe some area of this is 2 mana and it applies too much pressure in a casual game of Commander, where I completely understand. And the thing I really dislike about Orcish Bowmasters is the best answer to an Orcish Bowmaster is an Orcish Bowmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
Oh.
Because he does the 1 damage on entry.
Yep.
So you can just play your own in response and just kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So I hate that dynamic of this card.
Yeah.
It's also, you could play Pyroclasm.
Yeah.
You know...
I mean, there's a lot of ways to deal 1 damage pretty easily. If it was like a 2 toughness, I could see that more. But 1 toughness is pretty easy to do in a lot of colors, I feel like.
I will say that here's the best argument that nobody else has made. Because seriously, all the discourse around this card has not been particularly good. Correct. But the thing that does have me concerned about this is in the casual sphere, where we already know how much people just disregard a Ristic Study and let you draw 1,000,000 cards. Right? Imagine the number of people who are just going to say, screw it, I'm just going to draw through this thing anyway. I'll work towards my removal, I'll work towards something, I'm going to work towards my win. And the Bowmaster just starts going hard on turn 2.
Machine guns down the board.
It's machine gunning down the board, it's killing a lot of things. And God forbid there's 2 of these things in play at the same time.
See, that's where my mind went in a constructed context, like having 2 lands and Dark Ridding, flashing in 2 of these things in response to like a Brainstorm. You make a 6,
like a 6/6,
like an 8/8. No, you make an 8/8 because they're both ETBs.
Oh yeah, into the battlefield.
8/8 deal 8 damage.
Good.
Yeah.
God, we love our turn 2 Brainstorms and Legacy.
It's also...
I like this card because it changes up Legacy. I like that, though.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
I think also in the context of very casual Commander, a lot of the commanders, at least in my experience, do X draw a card. You know, like Tatiova or like a lot of one of the new Eowyn's, or do a thing, draw a card. That because people like drawing cards. I love drawing cards. It's my favorite thing to do in Magic, and I can see why in a casual sphere this is a huge feels bad in that, like, over time they're gonna be able to pick off your board or anybody's board and like make it does both. Like if it just amassed, then everyone would be like, oh, this card's kind of poo poo, but it do both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And can we just go back to, I know Cameron, you weren't here the past 2 episodes. We talked about this quite a bit. Hey, if you don't like this card, your playgroup doesn't like this card, Rule 0.
I listened to
just
the
talk
last
to your
2
playgroup.
pods.
Ethan, get closer to your mic.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, you're welcome. So Rule 0. Sorry for the headphone listeners on that one. Rule 0. Just talk about it. Talk to your playgroup. If it's a game store you've played at before, or if it's a weekly event, that's where it gets a little more dicey, and I get that. But if you have a consistent playgroup, talk about it. Say, I don't like this card for the play patterns. We've tested it. Play with it first to make sure you're okay. Like that's the situation.
I think testing amongst the general public with the card is also important. Like I wrote down here that everybody and their mother knew Hullbreacher was a busted ass card when it was spoiled. And like, how long was Hullbreacher legal for in Commander? Like a year, maybe a year?
About a
ish.
year.
And like it may end up that this thing is on that level of Hullbreacher broken. But
the issue with the whole, if I may stop you real quick, Hullbreacher prevents you from finding answers. This card doesn't. This card does not say you can't draw more cards. You can still draw through it. It might be painful. It might change the game dynamic, but you can still draw towards answers. Hullbreacher did not let you do that and gave the player an advantage.
Yeah, there is also, again, back in the casual sphere of things, I do have a concern of the Hullbreacher-esque area of players can coordinate as well, where it's like, you can choose to let your opponent use their Bowmaster to draw cards, or rather, you as a player can let your opponent use their Bowmaster to kill something else by advancing your own board state, where you just get a really sick deal with your opponent of like, yeah, we both hate this Drannith Magistrate, let me brainstorm and kill it.
Yeah, there's some cool aspects to it.
That's a neat thing. It's also a problematic thing when it becomes, again, kind of the... we talked about the issue with trade secrets, where 2 players just coordinate to draw their entire decks, and then the game is just between those 2, and it's a non-game for everyone else. Orcish Bowmasters could be in a similar situation where I'm the player who draws a bunch of cards. I'm going to feed your Rhystic Study every single time because you're just making me a big army, and I'm going to beat up on those guys because this is funny. We played Two-Headed Giant and didn't realize it. I
think it also comes back. Like, I've always known this on my mind. I don't know if it's something we've talked about like at length on the podcast. People don't like the gotcha cards, you know, like your Oppo agents, your Aven Mind Sensors, your Hull Breacher,
Crafty Cut Purse.
Yeah, fuck that card. Exactly. But just the gotcha cards in general, especially in a 4-player environment, like in in constructed, you can suss it out. You can kind of be like, okay, that you can be on a kind of a read, or like you've played it against them before, or game 2 or something. The gotcha cards
absolutely
generate tons of feels bads.
Yeah, I can see it. Also, to plug our Twitter for just a moment, I did post about one of the cool things you can do with this card, though, is you can build Hull Breacher at home with, if you have a Orcish Bowmaster plus Wheel of Fortune, each time your opponents draw a card, it triggers a mass 1 each time. So it's a separate trigger each time. Yeah. And if you have a Phyrexian altar, you can sacrifice the army every time it's made. So there you go. Now you can actually generate all the mana and have tokens created in the way that Hull Breacher did.
This is a really good fucking target for a curiosity. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a lot.
I was waiting for someone else to notice that. If they gave like 30 more seconds, I would have said curiosity, keen sense. What are the other two? The other two that Visit plays. Ophidian Eye and Tandem Lookout.
Yeah. Card's good.
The card is very good. But please play with it before you start saying it needs to be banned.
All right, that's pretty much everything we got today. But before I plug our stuff, we got to plug somebody else real quick.
I got to just give a shout out to my boy Ungoliant. Your profile picture keeps me going, man. I love that thing. There is internal discourse within our play group about how much we like seeing your fucking profile pictures show up just randomly. It makes our day a little better, and your takes are pretty good too.
Yeah, for context, this is just a random person who comments on our videos. It's great.
Yeah, we don't know if you are in our Discord or if you're just whatever you do. You do you. We looked at your YouTube before this, and it said just be chillin'. And it's like, you know,
no. It said we chillin'.
We chillin'.
That's all it said.
Words to live by. Words to live by. We chillin'.
Thank you, Ungoliant.
Thank you, Ungoliant,
for being inspiration to our generation.
Yes, thank you, Ungoliant. And thank you all very much for watching another episode of the Wrinkly Brain podcast. If you like to see edited gameplay, go check out our main channel, SmoothBrainEDH. We upload every Saturday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think, especially you, Ungoliant. And if you want to talk to us directly, feel free to join our Discord, Ungoliant. If you're interested in supporting us financially, check us out on Patreon. All links are in the description or in our link tree. This has been Jason with Ethan and Cameron. Y'all have a great day.